Welcome to another week of Chargers Chat. This week my guest is Deb Ihm. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Deb is the Director of Agriculture here at Southwest Tech. And Deb, we'll just start with a little background first. Where are you from and what's your agriculture background?
I am from Lancaster, where we farm with, my husband and I farm with his parents and then our children as well. We have an organic dairy and laying hen operation. And prior to that, I hail from central Wisconsin, where I grew up on a dairy farm. I received an ag education degree from River Falls and actually started my career working world as an ag instructor at Shellsburg High School, so here in southwest Wisconsin. I did that for 6 years before coming to the college.
Great. And how long have you been here at Southwest Tech, and what drew you to Southwest Tech, Deb?
So I came to Southwest Tech in 2007, and that is about the time that we decided we wanted to transition and move closer to my husband's home farm. So that was also when an opportunity opened up with the Tech College to be a farm business and production management instructor. So that was my role for 10 years, and then in the last 2 years is when I took the Director of Agriculture position.
Oh, great. And as Director of Agriculture, that encompasses a lot. What are some of your responsibilities, Deb?
Right. So as the Director of Ag, I get to work with my passion, which is everything related to agriculture at our college. If agriculture comes up in the topic, usually I get brought into the conversation, which is great. But no, I do work with all of our agriculture programs and all of our ag faculty. And we're both the programs that are on campus as well as our outreach programs.
And Southwest Tech has a great reputation, I think, for agriculture. And speaking to that, recently you were elected to the Wisconsin FFA Foundation Board. Can you talk a little bit about that and what the role of the Foundation Board is for the FFA?
Sure. And that's a new opportunity. Haven't even been to the first official meeting yet. That's coming up later here in June at the State FFA Convention. But I'm excited about that opportunity. Like the Foundation for the Tech College, the Foundation for the FFA is an opportunity to generate support and whether it's financial or in-kind gifts, whatever it may be, for the FFA organization. So supporting those high school students, middle school students, and even recent graduates in pursuing agriculture career and training.
Sure. And we touched on a little bit, being Director of Ag is a big job here at Southwest Tech. There's a lot of variety in the Ag department. Can you talk a little bit about that and what exactly is involved with agriculture at Southwest Tech?
Right, yeah, a lot of opportunities. I mean, we've really expanded our programming in the last 3 to 5 years to provide a breadth of knowledge of agriculture training. So if you're an individual who wants to pursue a career in the sales and service side of agriculture, you'd be looking to come to our campus in the agribusiness, science, and technology programs. And within that, we have emphasis areas in animal science, agronomy, and business management. If your career path is you're really, in production, you really want to go back to your home farm, a family farm, the neighbor's farm, or you want to start your own farm, you would probably consider a program in our farm operations and management area. And even within that, you could specialize dairy, livestock, crops, or ag mechanics. We have a long-standing successful Ag Power program as well. So for those individuals that really like the mechanic and the technical work and maybe see themselves as working as a tech at a dealership, that's a great 2-year program to become a part of. So those are our on-campus programs, but what's really neat is we also have these opportunities to work off-campus and with our programs, our ag programs that are in the communities. And that's done through our farm business and production management program. So I always kind of term that as our adult farm management program. And it's for those that are currently farming. And whether they're just getting started or they've been in it for 15 years or 30 years and now they're looking to get out. So they're able to work with our instructors in evening classes that are not as intense as your on-campus day-to-day programming, but really there to support those farmers in ramping up their management skills and making management decisions. And then what's really neat about that program is some individual on-farm time. So our instructors can really tune into individual farms and what their needs are at that point in time.
That's great. And another unique thing we have here is the dairy goat herd management program. Can you talk about that a little bit and how unique that is to Southwest Tech in this region?
Right, yeah. The dairy goat herd management certificate is very unique. There's very little formalized dairy goat curriculum or programs anywhere in the U.S. because we've done a lot of research trying to figure out what's already out there. That came to us probably about 5 years ago when we started some grant work with the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture. And they saw us as a prime location with, at that time, Chevrolet was one of our prime goat cheese making facilities, and it was Woolrich, now Saputo. And then we have a couple other dairy goat players as well in the processing area. And knowing that we're kind of sitting in the heart of the dairy goat industry, they thought, well, this would be a great place for them to work with us on a dairy goat curriculum. So we have developed a certificate which involves 11 online courses and a 48-hour mentorship on a dairy goat farm, as well as attending our annual Dairy Goat Academy, which is our face-to-face opportunity over the course of 2 days to, again, learn from expert speakers in the field.
Yeah, it's exciting. Every year I saw it last year. It's exciting to see the dairy goat producers here on campus.
Yeah, and they're really appreciating that opportunity to learn more and be better.
Absolutely. And the one thing that struck me since I've been here is the expertise of all the instructors here on campus, and even in obviously the ag department. Can you talk about the expertise that you have and just the knowledge that the ag instructors have, that they have those connections with business industry, and they're just very knowledgeable.
And that's where I just think the agriculture industry in general is very much a relationship-based, big networking type of an industry. And we all kind of know everybody, a kind of an extended family to some extent. It's really hard to not go to a function at agriculture and know somebody else that's there. But I think, so there's that aspect of it, but also when I look at our ag faculty, I think almost all of us do have farm experience with, I think, all but 2 of us actively farming while we are doing these jobs. And, being able to have that active involvement in the ag industry really forces us, but yet we do it because we enjoy it and that's our passion. But it helps us stay current with what's going on in the industry, which then helps us relate to our students in the curriculum and get them ready to be prepared for that industry. Yeah,
that's one word that I was going to just say that I've noticed about the ag faculty, and I guess everybody here is passion. The ag faculty, they're passionate. I mean, you can't really tell that they're working. I mean, they're here for the students, and they love what they do, whether it's on campus, off campus. It doesn't seem like a job to them, really. It seems like this is what they were born to do. Right,
and their experience will tell you that, because that's what they do. Even when if they're not here teaching, they're at home likely doing some work very similar to what they would be teaching.
Yeah, and kind of in that vein, not instructors, but we also have some unique things on campus. Can you talk about those? We have the Grotainer, the cow birth simulator, things I'm not familiar with.
Yeah.
But can you talk about some of the unique things specific to campus here,
Deb? Sure, yeah. And that all came about with our expansion of our ag programs and some grant dollars. And so we thought, if we're expanding our curriculum base, if we're expanding the technicality of what we need to teach, we need the lab resources, the teaching aids to support that. And we've had some great opportunities here that are available. So you mentioned the Grotainer, and that is our shipping freight container that allows us to grow about a half acre of plants. It's a half acre. It's in shelving areas, again, located in a shipping freight container. But we're able to grow plants in the middle of winter. And in Wisconsin, most of the months that we're sitting in a classroom during school, you cannot grow plants out there. So that has really provided us a great opportunity to grow the plants and see how that plant grows from seed to production, and be able to use that real life plant in the classroom discussion. So that's been a great experience. Our birthing cow simulator, again, she's great to have housed as well. Our full-size cow, we're not set up to house live animals. And so this is a great tool where we're able to then simulate various calving positions. And also I think we can get into some of the mammary glands and the udder systems as well. So again, those hands-on tools, and that's what we pride ourselves on at the technical college, is that hands-on opportunity to learn what we're talking about in the classroom. On our mechanical side, we've got some great partnerships with Case and John Deere, where we have access to the newest equipment out there, equipment that's not even on farms at this point. And so for our students to be able to see that, to sit in it, to operate it before it hits the farmers is huge, because by the time they graduate out of our programs and they are able to go to those dealerships, they are that much more confident and familiar with that equipment that's coming in those shops. They're exposed to it, so they've got a leg up on it. Drones is another thing. We have drones that we're able to fly on our campus, and again, that's becoming a very common practice to see our co-ops have, and our agronomy centers have those drones. Well, if our students can walk out of here knowing how to fly one, or at least practiced, it's giving them a leg up in terms of being a hireable person in those areas.
Absolutely, and maybe something too, we've talked about this in the past, that people might not know, is that Southwest Tech has operable cropland when the weather's good, whenever that turns out to be. But can you talk a little about that and how that works for the students to have actual cropland to work with, Deb?
It goes back to that hands-on lab.
Yeah.
You know, we're not just talking about it in the classroom. So, yeah, we have about 20 acres that we're able to farm. It ends up being primarily corn and beans, but we do have some hay ground out there. But it does give us an opportunity in a wide variety of areas on the agronomy and the mechanical side. So I know a lot of our agronomy students are getting access to, you know, soil sampling and crop rotations and fertilizer applications, and they're using our actual ground to do the calculations and figure out where the needs are at. And then as far as the equipment goes, you know, now we have ground to go out there and practice using that equipment and setting, you know, calibrating the seeders and the fertilizers to be sure that it's actually putting the right amount of seed or fertilizer on that we want it to. So it's all about practicing all of those skills before they leave here, which makes them more confident once they get that job.
Sure. And I ask this to everyone, I guess. What advice would you have to maybe younger students or even older students who are looking to go back to college to learn new skills or to advance their career? What would you say to students interested in the ag industry specifically, Deb?
There are opportunities.
Yeah.
There are definitely opportunities. Aside from what we hear from the general media, you know, farms declining and dairy selling out and the tough economy, there are opportunities. Agriculture will always be there. People will always need to eat, which will always guarantee that agriculture will be there. But it's changing, and it's continually changing, and the technicality of what individuals need to know is so much more in depth, and that's why there's opportunities.
Right.
A farm owner at this point cannot do their job successfully solely by themselves. You know, they need to call on the agronomist and the nutritionist and the vets and this, you know, the lenders to support them and be that management team. So, you know, that's a whole slew of career opportunities that I just mentioned there. So there's definitely the opportunity. So anytime you have a chance to ramp up your education, receive some additional degree, come back and just refresh your skills, you know, there's going to be opportunities that are there for you.
Sure. Another thing that I love about Southwest Tech is the involvement of the instructors in the community. I know last year we were involved in all the dairy breakfasts. We're going to do that again this year, handing out cheese curds. Can you just talk about all the events that the Ag Department's involved in throughout the year, Deb? I know World Dairy Expo, things like that. Why are all those things important to you and important to the Ag Department?
You know, I see that we have the next generation of agriculture employees and owners out there, and it's really it goes back to that whole idea of networking and creating that relationship and being part of that family. And in order for businesses, whether on the sales and service side or the farms, you know, in order for them to be successful, we have to be successful. We all have to be working together and progressing and learning together. And so it's important to be present in those so that we can see how we're directly connected to each other and so that we can continue to provide opportunities for our students. I mean, yes, we're present at a lot of events throughout the course of the year, and we get called on because in Southwest Wisconsin, and really, you know, I don't know if you can go anywhere in Wisconsin except for maybe downtown Milwaukee, but I mean, agriculture's everywhere, and we're very much so sitting in a very rural area of the state. And if you look at our communities, agriculture, I mean, if we did not have agriculture, we would not have a lot of our communities. And so, kind of as a service back to those areas and being, you know, as a college, being responsible of supporting our communities, we have to be part of that ag community. And that's our role. Our role is the education side. Sure.
And I guess how would you educate, I guess, the general public, those who aren't producers or who aren't in the ag industry? What would you say to them if they want to support, you know, dairy producers or ag producers? What would you tell them? What are things that people can do who live in maybe in Milwaukee or wherever? What can they do to help the Wisconsin ag industry?
Get to know the ag industry. Get to know those that are involved. Ask questions and ask questions to understand and to build that trust, because I also know there's a lot of question about the trust and the viability and whether or not ag is and farmers are doing the right things. And you know, I have not met a farmer yet who does not have a lot of pride and passion for what they're doing. And so when it is stated in a very generic format that they're producing unsafe product, it's very detrimental, because, you know, again, being a farmer myself, and being involved with all those, you know, the requirements that it takes and the standards and the records, they are doing the safe practices. And so, before judgments are made, ask questions, educate yourself. And there's so many people out there that are willing to help you understand, help show you, just to show you. We are so many generations removed. I've lost count now, but we're so many generations removed from the actual farm. And so I get it. It's hard to understand what really happens on that operation. It's no different than me walking into, I'm sure there's, a business out there that I have no experience with. I mean, you could probably throw out some manufacturing businesses that I really have no concept of. But be open to listen and hear and understand what's going on in these operations and in the ag industry, and the safety practices that are being put in place, and the effort that's being made to protect the land and to provide for the communities, because there's so much pride that's there, and there's so much work that's being done that's adding to the technicality that we're seeing on the education side that we have to train for.
Absolutely. Great. Well, thanks, Deb.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate your time. It was great to talk ag, and we'll see you at all the dairy breakfasts this summer.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us this week on Chargers Chat. We will see you again next week, noon on Thursday. Thank you.